Hi, everybody. We're going to run through the PigLatin program real quickly here. So I've started a new project here. I'm going to create a new, oh, sorry, not a new project, a new class, the PigLatin class. And then I'm going to take a look and we'll see. We'll see what's happening here. They tell us that we're going to be writing a main program. So that has the user enter 2 words. And then jumping down here, the main program is going to call a string method convert that takes a single string parameter and returns the PigLatin version of that word. If you don't know what PigLatin is, we're going to go through those instructions here in just a moment. But I'm just trying to figure out here. It looks like we have a main program and then a string method convert. So that'll be a static. So let me go ahead and put the information in here, my name and the date. You should be doing this, of course, on your programs. And I need a public static convert, and it's going to return a string. So if it wasn't returning anything, I'd put a void, but it's returning a string, so I'm going to put that in. And it's going to take a single string parameter, and I guess I'll call that word, because PigLatin works on words, yeah. And so I'll figure out what's going on there in a moment, and then I've got my public static avoid main string and args. Yeah, and we'll figure out what's going to be happening there as well. Okay, the user is going to enter 2 words, one that begins with a consonant and one that begins with a vowel, and then we're going to print out the PigLatin version of that word. So sounds like I'm going to need a scanner in here, so import java.util.scanner, and let me go ahead and create that scanner object in my main. Scanner in is equal to a new scanner object. My usual typing problems plague me. And yeah, let's ask the user for that information then. So we'll system out print line or system out print. Enter a word that begins with a consonant. We'll have them do that. And then that begins with a consonant. Let's do it that way. Yeah. And then we're going to get that word in and we'll store it in here. We'll call that word 1. That's going to be equal to whatever it is that they've entered in dot next. We'll get that word. And then we'll also have them enter a word that begins with a vowel, because I guess we're going to be testing that. So I'll copy that and we'll begin with a vowel and we'll save that in word 2. And then we are going to system out print line. Now imagine the results of the PigLatin conversion process. So I'm going to take those strings, send them to the convert method. So I'm going to send in word 1 to be converted. And when I get that result returned back, then I'll print that result. And hopefully it'll be the PigLatin version. And I'm going to do the same thing here with word 2. And maybe I'll just put a little explanation in here. System out print line. The PigLatin versions are, and then we'll know that those are coming out. Cool. Let me see what this looks like so far. I'm just going to return blah right now. I'll return blah. That's nothing. I just want to double check and make sure this thing's compiling more or less, because I've put a bunch of code in here, and again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So once I've done that, let me jump in and then run that program there. I'll run the main and see what happens. Enter a word that begins with a consonant. Pow. I'll put that in there. And how about apple? I'll put that in there. And the PigLatin versions are blah and blah. And of course, that's what I expect, because my conversion is just sending back blah right now. It's not really doing anything. But at least the basic running of my program is proceeding as it should. So let's go now into this conversion process and see what's going on. Print out a PigLatin version of the word according to the following rules. Words that begin with a consonant sound have that sound moved to the end of the word with an A added to the end of the word. So lunch becomes unchlay, and sunset becomes unset say. Okay, got it? So first letter goes to the back, and then we add on an A. And then if it's a vowel sound, oh wait, words that begin with a consonant have the consonant W. This should be vowel. This is a typo. Words that begin with a vowel have the consonant W added to the end of the word, followed by an A. Thus, egg, there's nothing to go back there because it's a vowel, so egg way and awful, awful way. Got it. Got to fix that typo. Okay, so that means I'm going to be doing one of two different things depending upon whether or not the thing is a consonant at the beginning, whether or not the word has a consonant at the beginning. So this is going to be my condition that I'm going to be checking for. So I guess, how do I get that first letter? How do I identify that first letter? I'm going to save that in a variable. String initial, I'll call it initial, is going to be equal to, and how do I get the first letter of the string? I can use the substring method. That's really the only way of getting that. Remember that first character is at position 0, and I'm going to stop right before I get to position 1. So this is the substring parameters that I use to get that first character in the string. And now once I get that, and let me double check that that's working, right? I don't want to go too far. Let me double check and see if I'm getting that. Oh, they're still going to want me to return something too, so I'm just going to return nothing. Let me compile that and see what I'm getting for that initial there. And let me run that. And I'll do, what do I do, pow and apple. And I'm getting that P and that A. It's printing those out for me. So that's cool. It's actually doing what I was hoping it was doing with that substring there. So initial has a value there. So I suppose, well, I mean, the ugly way to do this is if I'm looking for consonants first, I could say if initial equals A, or initial is B, or initial is C, or initial is D, but that's going to be, what were there? There's like 5 vowels, so 21 consonants. I don't want to do that. How about if I check to see if it's a vowel? Because there's only 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U. They haven't really said what to do with Y, but I'm going to ignore Y for now, just to make it easy on myself. So how about if I do this? If initial equals A, oh, but wait, I can't do initial equals A because that's not how you compare strings. I have to say initial dot equals A. Or, use those bars there, or, and you know, so here's a little pro tip for you. I could keep on typing like this, initial dot equals E. I could do that there, but one of the things you can do is you can move this over here and kind of line it up. And this will allow you to very easily confirm that you aren't making any typos as you go through. So I'm going to grab this here and just like keep on going. And E, A, E, I, O, U. Not going to worry about the Y's. If any of those things is true, and I'll close my parentheses there, if anything of those things is true, then I know I have a vowel, and I'm going to be doing the vowel thing. So I'll put that in quotes here. And I'll just make a little note to myself. The initial letter is a vowel. That's what I've just checked there. And the else to that, else, if the initial letter is not a vowel, the initial letter is a consonant. So that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get those two sections, and either I'm going to do my vowel thing or I'm going to do my consonant thing. So this is, I think, going to set that up for us. I have a new word that I'm going to be putting together here. It's going to be based on the old word. So I think what I maybe want to do also is at the beginning, before I get too far into this, I'm going to set up my new word, and that's going to be equal to, that's going to start out being nothing. I'm going to have nothing in there, but I'll add the letters in there later on. And then ultimately then, down at the bottom here, once I get done, I'm going to return that new word, that new PigLatin word that I've constructed here. So I'm initializing, or rather declaring the new word here and initializing it to the empty string. I will create that word as I go through here, and then finally the new word will be returned, whatever I've put together there. So here's another thing that's kind of interesting. So what does the new word going to look like? Well, it's a different situation depending on what we're doing here. So let's try the vowel part of that. If I'm going to be creating a new word based on an initial vowel, I need, looks like the original, I'm looking at egg here, the initial word, the original word rather. So I'm going to say new word, I guess down here is equal to whatever the original word was, which is stored in the variable word. That's the parameter coming in. So I'm going to take word, maybe egg, maybe apple, whatever it is, and I'm supposed to return then that word plus a W plus A. Oh, that's easy. So I'll just concatenate a W and an A. I could put them all together. I suppose I could put dashes between them as they did there. I think I'm going to leave the dashes out. They haven't really specified specifically. They put the dashes in there. I don't know if they want me to put the dashes in or if that's just them making sure I understand what the new word looks like. I'm going to leave the dashes out. And I think is that all I have to do? Geez, it's easy for vowels. I'm going to try that and see what happens. Down here for this else part, I'm just going to say new word equals word. I'm not going to change that because I want to run this. I want to test and see if the vowels work before I go any farther. So let me run this. I'm running the main. I'll put in pow and I'll put in apple. And pow, of course, isn't doing anything because I told it not to, but apple way, that's exactly what it was supposed to do. This is great. My PigLatin program is working for words that begin with a vowel. Let me see what happens with a consonant now. It seems like it might be a little bit more complicated. Words that begin with a consonant have that sound moved to the end of the word with an A added to the end. Okay, move to the end. So that means in addition to the word dot substring, I'm going to need, so I've got the initial there. I guess the new word is going to be equal to whatever the old word was without that initial letter. So that's going to be the substring starting at position 1 and going all the way to the end of the word. And I'm going to have to add a couple of other things in there. But this is going to start at the second character. Remember, the character counting starts at 0. So the first character is 0. That's what's in the initial. This is going to say, take the part of word that begins at index 1, in other words, the second character, and go all the way to the end. So if that was if that was lunch, then this is going to be unch plus, and then I have to put the initial letter, which I saved in the variable initial, and I have to add that AY at the end. Oh, that's not bad either. Just a little bit tricky here. I have to strip off that first character, that initial there. This gets the rest of the word, puts the initial at the end, and then puts that A in there. So let me run that and see what that looks like. That's not too bad. Either way, whether I made this new word or this new word, I'm returning the new word there. So let's try it and see what happens here. So we'll do pow and apple. Aupe and Appleway. I think that's it. I'll use the test cases that they gave me over here. Lunch, and awful. I'll try those. Lunch and awful. Unchley and awful way. That's exactly what they said I should print out over here, minus those hyphens. So I think we're pretty much done there. That's the PigLatin program, and I hope that was useful to you.